Hi, everyone. Welcome to the GoldFish Report. I'm your host, Louisa. Today is Wednesday, November 6th, 2019. This is our 402nd GoldFish Report. And we have a special guest with us, a returning friend to the GoldFish Report, our friend, Dr. Scott Werner. How are you today, Scott?
I'm doing absolutely fantastic, and I'm happy to be alive and be here.
Amen. That's good. Me and Scott were laughing a lot before the program started, so you have to forgive us. But it is a high vibe, so we hope it's contagious to you all. Today Scott's going to be bringing forth a message regarding from Saint Germain, of course, and it has to do with the fact that the dark are really trying to hijack our collective consciousness, and including, man, I'm having weird dreams lately, and I know that it's just really strange. It's really strange. And I think that they're doing it during our sleep. Who knows? They're using CERN, or I don't know what they're doing. But Scott's going to be talking about that. But before we move ahead, I wanted to just screen share. I wanted to let our viewers know that once again, the fascism is alive and well in the United States. Facebook has they've locked us out of our Facebook accounts. And I'm going to screen share where you can go in the alternative until we get this resolved. This is our sister company called the Canary Chronicles, as everybody may remember. It is on Facebook, so just type in the Canary Chronicles and you'll come right here. It's not as updated, and I mean, now it'll be more updated, but it's not quite as thorough as our GoldFish Report news page, but this is the backup and the reason why we got it. So this is the news for today. This is actually the reason that we were, according to Facebook, why we were locked out of our account. Says that this post goes against our community standards on dangerous individuals and organizations. We're dangerous, folks. Must be. This is a White House press release, folks, and it's about the death of ISIS leader Baghdadi. This was considered a violation of their community standards, and now, in order to try to unlock this, it's really outrageous. It's outrageous because they've made me go through a song and dance of all kinds, send pictures, get codes, and then they tell me the codes don't work when I try to put them in. It's really a joke. It's a farce. They ultimately are leading up to this. They want government-issued ID sent to them, and they will not even answer my question as to why I was locked out of the account, because I'm presuming that's why. In fact, I didn't even get that message until the next day. So there was no way to know why they did this. I have no idea why they did it. That, to me, is the only reason. But again, I didn't even see that until it was the next day. So anyway, folks, go to the Canary Chronicles on Facebook. You'll be able to get, wherever our latest posts are. Also, please follow us on Twitter and, of course, on YouTube and BitChute. And, of course, these links are all at the goldfishreport.com. So having said that, let's move along, because they're doing this for a reason. I mean, if they really think they have a chance in hell to win the next election, they're sorely mistaken. And what they're resorting to, aside from all this censorship, is they're trying to influence us on an esoteric level. And this is what Scott's going to talk about today. So we are ready for you, Scott.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that I have this opportunity to talk to everybody out there, and thank you, Louisa, for having this platform, because right now they're using psionics against us. Now, what is psionics? Psionics is psychiatric telepathic energy that is making us think our thoughts are true and they're coming from our own mind, but they're actually coming from paid psionic experts, people who are psychic. They've hired them with the agenda of the far left. And, it's interesting how everything just comes together. And last night, I did a talk about telepathy and how important it is for us on the side of the ascended masters to use our telepathic abilities to overcome this psionic attack that they're doing on all of us. Now, literally, George Soros has hired thousands of psychics to do their agenda. And their agenda, believe it or not, is to make all of us poor. Now, you can look at this under Rules for Radicals. It's a book written by Saul Alinsky, and the far left is doing every one of these things. They want to, number one, there's 8 levels of control that must be obtained before you're able to create a socialist state. And literally, they're trying to make the United States of American Republic into a socialist state and region for Agenda 21 of the United Nations, signed into law by George H.W. Bush here in the United States. So all of our monies from the United States that goes out and supports other countries is supporting this Agenda 21 and trying to bring all of the world under a new world order socialist state. Now let's talk about these 8 levels of control. The first is the most important. You know how, AOA and all these people, or COA, whatever her name is.
Oh, Alexandria Occasional Cortex?
Yeah, AOC.
Yeah.
She's talking about universal Medicare. Now, let me tell you, as I've worked in agencies of the federal government through my medical career, I found the agents, the medical centers ran by the government were absolutely the worst ran. The people who were running them had permanent positions, so they could do whatever the hell they wanted. And the bottom line was they made really good money for the worst care I've ever seen in my life. I mean, I've worked at VA centers. I've worked at the Department of Indian Affairs hospitals. I've worked at the Medicare. And let me tell you, it is diabolical. And it's the worst health care you can receive. And yet they're saying, oh, we'll give Medicare to everybody. And the number one thing that helps them take control of you is if they're in control of your health care. And that's what they're trying to do. So am I opposed to universal Medicare? Absolutely, because it doesn't work.
Well, Scott, I mean, it has to be affordable. That's the solution. I mean, I had this really bad rash. I had to go on my face and I had to go to the emergency room, $1,300. I mean, there's a reason I don't have health insurance. I can't afford it. So,
Yeah.
Like it has to be affordable. Plus they didn't cure the condition. They don't even know what it is.
Well, so the thing they don't tell you is they say, oh, it's going to be affordable. How do they pay for it? Through the socialist taxes they impose on us, which will be above 50% of what your income is. They don't tell you this. In other words, if you're making $30,000 a year, you're going to be taxed at least $15,000 a year. So you're going to be in poverty. So you're going to be able to afford food stamps because you're in poverty. And that's the other thing, is the second level is poverty. Increase the poverty level as high as possible. Poor people are easier to control and will not fight back if the government's providing for them, that you don't bite the hand that's feeding you. So, through the higher taxes of the socialist government, they're going to pay for our health care and make it very affordable because they're taxing the hell out of us for our health care.
Right, but then
they literally figured out that it's going to be at least $23 trillion to run a health care system for every human in the United States. Guess what? That's our deficit that we've created. And that's what we owe China. And, so we are literally under the control of this socialist energy right now because of all the income that we have put out to other countries, especially the communist China, You know, they literally own the United States. I see busloads of Chinese coming to southern Utah to see Zion National Park, Bryce Canyon, all these national parks, and they have all the money. Literally, they have so much money. They stay in the best hotels, eat at the best restaurants. I mean, it's pretty amazing.
Right.
And yet they're a communist country, but they literally have so many dollars that they just give them to their citizens to spend here in the United States. And we think, oh, great, we're getting some money coming back in. But, you know, we don't realize they're making everything. They make an iPhone in China for $25, and they sell it to us for almost $1,000.
Yeah, let me just screen share this as what you're talking, because here, you know, there's a bill sponsored by Senator Brad Holliman in Manhattan, whose legislation eliminates the religious exemption for vaccines in school children. So that was recently signed by Governor Cuomo. Here they want to take this New York bill would require HPV vaccine for children to enter school and daycare. So Scott, this is what socialized medicine is going to do. It's going to force the medical treatment. It's going to force you to get chipped. It's going to force you to get, you know, this is depopulation, folks, get it?
Oh, it is. It's totally a depopulation thing. They found that the girls who received the HPV virus vaccine, 1/3 of them become infertile within 6 weeks of getting the vaccine. Infertile.
That's the point.
And that's why our infertility rate in the United States is approaching 40%, is because of all the genetic intervention they're doing with particularly this Gardasil, the HPV vaccine. You know, they don't tell you, well, if you don't have sex, you won't get these diseases. Instead, they mandate everybody to get it because they just assume, you know, we're all going to be out having sex. And what the fact they're giving it to pediatric patients, to me, is abominable, because what they're doing is they're making it okay for these little kids to have sex.
They're exploiting the people who are not awake, the people who don't do the research, the sleepwalkers who just believe everything the mainstream media says. And we saw from that Project Veritas expose yesterday that the news company sat on, CBS News, I think it was, sat on the evidence in the story about Jeffrey Epstein for 3 years, at least from the time that video was taken. I don't know when that video was taken, but they absolutely, we knew this. Now you could call us all, you know, tinfoil hat wearing conspiracy theorists, but guess what, folks? This is the evidence. The evidence that we're saying, this is Mockingbird media. It's controlled media. It's fake news. They're not going to tell you. And when I went to a town hall meeting with the Governor Christie, when I went to a town hall meeting to explain that a judge retaliated against me for going to the press and talking about the lack of due process in the courts, and I was retaliated against and they took custody of my kids away for that. This was Christie's first news conference after Bridgegate, and it was his first of his second term. So every news organization was there. And you know what? When I went up to NBC News, they said, sorry, it's not our story. They didn't care. Not one of them reported it. And only because C-SPAN carried it live is there any evidence of that happening? Because none of them reported it. They were all there. They just wanted a Christie bloodbath, but they weren't interested in reporting the news. So this goes to show people that the evidence is coming out, what we've been talking about all these years, that this is all controlled, it's all fake, and there's an agenda behind it. And that's what you're talking about. This is the agenda.
Absolutely. And the agenda is to put us under socialist environment where they have total control. Now, poverty is the second one. Debt is the third one. Guess who's in the biggest debt out of the entire world? The United States of America. Pretty sad. Increase the debt to an unsustainable level. That way you are able to increase taxes, and this will produce more poverty. So let me tell you, the socialists do not have your best interests in their minds. They are telepathically sending us messages that they're the greatest, the best. I mean, literally, they can affect the weakest minds. Now, the last, let's keep going before I go into this. Gun control is number 4. Remove the ability to defend yourself from the government. That way, you are unable to defend yourself, and the only ones who have the weapons are the police, and so it creates a police state. Number 5, welfare. Take control of every aspect of your life, the food, the housing, and the income. So the basic things. You know, if they control your food, your water, and your housing, they control you in ways that you can't even realize, because they can turn off your water.
Yep.
You know, and how long are you going to last without water? 3 days. So, you know, it's important that we know these things. That's why I'm bringing it up. I'm not trying to put fear into your lives. I'm just trying to put knowledge into your lives.
Right.
Education. Take control of what people read and listen to. Take control of what children learn in school. Now, they've had this agenda here in the United States in effect for 40 years. The government took control of the education of our children. That's why all the millennials literally have been indoctrinated ever since they were babies. And I mean, they do this even in the preschools. They're indoctrinating children. So they've taken control of education. Now, religion, think about what's happened to America. Remove the belief in God from the government and schools. You can no longer pray at any government function or in the schools. They've taken God out of the schools. So that's number 7. Number 8 is class warfare. Divide the people into the wealthy and poor, the black and the white, and it will cause more discontent, and it will be easier to take or tax the wealthy, because you'll get the support of all the people who are on welfare who are going to be taxed additionally. I mean, it's not just going to be, you know, we currently in the United States, most people in the lowest income category are not taxed except for Medicare and Social Security. But that is going to shift and make you even poorer once they take and make this socialist state. So don't think that joining the socialists will make you happier and have more, because you will have less, and your health care will actually be very, very controlled to control you. It's not going to be better health care. It's going to be substandard. Literally, every time I would go to these places, it was substandard care. And as a doctor and a caring physician, I'd ask the nurses to do stuff, and they'd be at the workstation talking and gabbing, and I'd say, hey, you haven't done this. This lady's going to die if you don't give her her meds right now. And they just waved me off. Oh, people die every day. You know, it was amazing the opposition I ran into trying to give people great health care, because that was my objective, was to be the best doctor I could be. But the nursing and the labs and everything else was ran in a governmental slowness. I mean, literally the bureaucracy of getting a lab done and the paperwork was ridiculous. Right. And so, you know, everything just went so much slower. And when I was in the nice private hospitals, they ran the best, and they took the best care of the patients. And I loved working in private hospitals. So don't think that governmental hospitals is the answer. It's not. In fact, it's going to be a big problem.
Well, that's why the president signed the executive order for veterans to be able to go outside of the VA system and go to whatever healthcare facility they wanted to.
Oh, absolutely, because the president recognized they
Yeah.
get better care at private institutions. But if we take and get rid of all the private hospital systems and all the private insurance, you know what AOC is planning to do is the worst thing for everybody.
She has to be, on one level, it just seems like Scott, it just seems like the dark had a role here, okay? The dark had a role, but they went too far. The dark energy. It had, if anything, what has to happen is humanity, the only solution, and I know this is where you're going with this, maybe I should wait, but, you know, it's going to get crazy, folks. It's going to get crazy until everybody wakes up and realizes we're in this together and we share this earth. This is our home.
Yes.
It's our home, and you know, we have to live here and take care of it. And so, yeah, okay. So class warfare, dividing through socioeconomics, dividing through race, dividing through political affiliation. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
you name it.
If you're in a right wing, they're going to have you surveilled by the police.
The crazy thing is, Scott,
Well, they already do. They already do.
Who are all these people going along with this program? Are they being told they're going to be guaranteed their 72 virgins in the afterlife? I mean, come on, who's doing this? Who thinks this is good for America?
Well, we have people who have been hired by socialist billionaires with an agenda to be at the top of the echelon, because the elite are not going to be affected by this because they're going to control the masses. And they want to reduce the population of the earth down to 500 million. And literally, they have to kill off 6 billion of us, almost 7 billion now. And so their agenda is starting to have its effects on the earth. And even doing what they're doing has contaminated the earth, because they know these contaminants will kill us off faster. So that's why it's so important to eat good organic food, clean up your water, detox your body. I mean, it's amazing. And so St. Germain has wanted me to tell people, we're doing detox for 30% off. And literally, that cuts into my bottom line, but that's okay because, I'm following St. Germain and trying to do what he's telling me. Now, last night, St. Germain came through very powerfully. I'm doing what you call a fall group mentoring. And these are available on YouTube for free. The people who joined the mentoring, they paid, $200 to $300 to get this group mentoring. But I'm being told by St. Germain, these next couple of things are so important to make them available to everybody. So the November 5th, 2019 is on the internet on YouTube. And you go to Scott Werner Fall Mentoring. And last night's was all about waking up the sleeping humans. Because literally they've mesmerized everybody through the media, through the education system, through getting us away from religion and belief in God, through their promises of free health care, free housing, free food, taking care of all the immigrants that are coming in, which actually reduces the amount available for us. And they are practicing telekinesis and telecommunication to our minds. They have psionic professionals. They've trained them and made them know exactly how to send out telepathic communication, to think that these ideas are coming from our own brains. And they have, through the immunizations, implanted silicon chips that are attached to our DNA, and they can communicate through this to our nervous system and our brains. So they're doing this not only through telekinesis and telepathy, but they are using the microwaves to send messages to make us think this is, oh, this is great. This is, you know, but truthfully, it's all about controlling the humans, because whoever controls the humans controls the entire universe. What I've learned from Randy Kramer is incredible. Randy was a captain in the United States Marines, and he served on Mars. He served, you know, in the solar system, secret space programs. And, you know, when I met him, he had PTSD worse than any guy I've ever met.
Yep.
And I helped him get through it. But some of the things that he has revealed to me, and you can watch what he knows on Cosmic Disclosure on Gaia TV. And Emery Smith is interviewing him. If you don't believe me, watch the show, because you'll learn the truth of what's actually going on. Now, one of the things he talked about, he teaches psionics.
Yeah.
And so he knows all about this stuff. Mm-hmm. And believe it or not, the draconians and the archons are actually so powerful with their telepathy. They get us to go out. I couldn't believe the amount of people wanting to watch scary movies and wanting to be terrified out of their brains, you know, on Halloween. And it's because the archons are telepathically communicating. Go watch this movie, go do this, go do that. They feed off of this fear energy, believe it or not, from humans.
Loose.
The entire universe depends on human emotions to make things move.
Manifest.
And to help manifest things. And they use our fearful energy to control us, believe it or not.
Isn't it like a food, though, like an energetic food? I mean, we've had Randy Kramer on the GoldFish Report a number of times, and it is a really amazing guy with amazing knowledge, and he has shared a lot of that with us, and it's amazing how powerful. But these, you know, it has to do, right now we're going through this compression breakthrough. The Earth is expanding, it's growing. Yes. The Schumann frequency is really off the charts all the time. You can feel the energies coming in. So that's the good news, Scott. Regardless of what their agenda is, that there's still other positive forces here to bring in this golden age for humanity. There's other positive forces that are here to ensure that, you know, humanity's given a fair chance, because it's not our fault that we're being manipulated this way. But this is what they're doing. And what Scott, I think the real important part of this message is to be aware, which is what Scott's trying to do, is bring your awareness to the fact that this is happening, and not to go along with it, and not to fall with it, because we need, you know, people on. Everybody has to make a choice. You're either with them or you're with us. You're either with the dark or you're with the light, okay? Clearly, I've been here trying to tell the truth and get the truth out to the best that I could for 4.5 years. And, you know, I have interviewed a lot of people. There's been some people who, you know, I have questioned their authenticity, but you know what? It's for the people to decide. It's for people to decide for themselves, but their stories they had something to say that was of interest to many people. So I shared it with our viewers. And what's important is to realize that it's not always easy to tell who the snakes are among us. Sometimes you know them by their fruit, but let me tell you, the snakes hide in the grass. You don't see them until it's too late. And they wear the two masks, the false masks. They are the greatest deceivers. They are the serpents. They are, you know, from the
and they feed off our energy.
Yeah.
So now, the reason I brought all this stuff up in the beginning is so you're aware, and I agree with Louisa, you know, and we are here to give you a positive accounting of what Saint Germain came through. Literally, this fall mentoring has been so interesting. He gave me specific subjects to take charge of and to teach the people. And they have just fallen right in line, right in line. And this latest one about telepathy was very interesting. And so the question was, how do we wake up all the sleeping humans around us to get them ready for the ascension and the new humanity that's coming, that is actually in the plan for our actual evolution? The cabal is trying to keep us from evolving, because if we evolve, they lose control. They automatically lose control, and they lose the earth, because the earth is also going to ascend into a higher consciousness.
We're their food for these beings that are these reptilian beings that were, that have been here. It's a race of beings. They're not ETs. They're here. They live among us.
Yeah, they're here. They're on Mars. They're
live
all
among
over.
us.
They're all around, and they feed off of our energy.
According to testimony from others, it's definitely something that they need us more than we need them, right, Scott?
Oh, absolutely. And so the assignment from Saint Germain to teach the people last night was, I practice telepathic communication daily, focusing my mind with positive thoughts and higher emotions such as unconditional love, peace, organization, contentment, and joy, bliss, happiness, and putting positive and loving thoughts into the minds of all the humans around us. Now, why is this necessary? And so, what is telepathy? The purported, now this is the definition you'll find on the internet, purported vicarious transmission of information from one person to another without using any known human sensory channels or physical interaction. Now, they've put this on there because they don't want you to believe that telepathy is even possible. But let me tell you, how many of you have thought of a friend, and the next thing you know, they're calling you up? That's telepathy. You said, oh, I'm thinking about you. Give me a call. And they call you up. So right there is proof telepathy works. Now, a lot of you, the skeptics, go, oh, that's just haphazard. But let me tell you, it's amazing. As I've done my instruction to people over the years, I've taught about clairvoyance, which is clear seeing. The military called it remote viewing. I actually learned how to do remote viewing from an ex-military CIA operative 25 years ago. And it was as real as could be. And it made my ability to see people's past lives, future lives, everything better. So I became a better psychic by studying this.
Wow.
And that's what they're doing. They're teaching all these people these psychic abilities that we humans all have, and using them against ourselves, which is crazy. Now, clairaudience is clear hearing and the ability to sense or communicate from other locations, including dimensions, moments in time, past, present, and future. And it is a very powerful ability. I can hear the voices of the ascended masters telling me things and teaching me. And all of us can do this. We just have to quiet our minds and listen and get in that vibration of unconditional love. A lot of people are experiencing what they call tinnitus, and it's a ringing in the ears. And they go to their doctors, and the doctors put them on psychiatric medications, antidepressants, antipsychotics. I mean, it's ridiculous. But that ringing is the higher vibration of the ascended masters trying to talk to us. And they vibrate at such a higher vibration, we get this high-pitched ringing. And what we need to do is raise our vibration so we can hear what they're telling us. And we can do that through our thoughts. And so we can have clairaudience by raising our vibration. And even if you've done a bunch of crap, you can forgive yourself really quickly and just raise your vibration up into the higher realms. And you can hear what they're trying to say. The next one is clairsentience and clear feeling. And many of us don't pay attention to this. We have feelings we shouldn't go do something. We have feelings about different people and different things. We need to pay attention to this clairsentience or clear feelings, because it's the ability to feel or sense other locations, including dimensions, moments in time, past, present, and future. The next gift is claircognizant or clear knowing. Now, this is the ability to obtain knowledge or abstract designs, such as Tesla. He was just doing claircognizance when he received all the information he did to design all of the different energetic things he was building. And even architecture. I've met some of the greatest architects that are in the United States, and they tell me their designs just come and download into their brain. And that's claircognizance. They clearly know architecture, and they get it from other locations, including dimensions, moment in time, past, present, and future. They actually see futuristic buildings and stuff. Now, remote or telepathic communication is another gift that humans have. And it's the ability to communicate with plants, insects, microbes, animals, or people, or other life forms in other locations, including dimensions, moments in time, past, present, and future. Now, believe it or not, all these things are very real. And these are the things they're using against us to make us believe what they want us to believe. And who is they? The dark side, the cabal. So what St. Germain's message last night is we can send messages or energy to others to heal them, to help them. Now, the opposite is true. They can send energy to harm us and influence us for bad things. Now, I can't tell you how many people I've had to clear from these energies recently. And literally, they're sending negative entities, they're sending negative energies, and we have to clear this energy away from us so we can actually feel, see, hear, and know the truth. And the truth shall make you free, because freedom is what we need. We don't need to be subdued and controlled. Humans need freedom so we can receive new knowledge, new expression, new architecture, new ideas. That's why America became great. And that's also what they're trying to do to get us to fall, is take that all away from us. And so just know that, China became great because they stole all our ideas, and they continue to steal our technology, our ideas. But we are free enough, we can create more. So who cares? And so just know that we can send visual energy to people, we can send our love consciousness to others, and we can influence others with our light. And guess what? Light fills the darkness and can enlighten everybody. But our job is to wake up all of us who are conscious and get us sending that information. Because the only way we can combat this telekinesis and telepathy from the dark side is to bring more light out through our conscious efforts of telepathy. Now, I had a lot of people questioning, the telepathy, questioning this, that, and the other thing, because, it's a new idea for a lot of people. But it's very old, actually. This has existed from the beginning of our existence. The people like Moses, when he went up the mountain to ask God, what do I do with all these people who have been controlled by the Egyptians and enslaved for years? What do I do? And God appears to him and tells him how to communicate with them. And he actually came down with some beautiful laws to help them, and he came down and they were all having an orgy. And it was like, So they weren't ready for this information. So he threw the first tablets down on the ground and busted them into a million pieces. But it was the higher law. So we had to go back up and ask God, okay, they're not ready for this. What do I do? And so he brought down the lower laws, which were the 10 Commandments. Now, these are basic laws that he had to teach these people who had been enslaved to bring them out of their slavery. And the reason he had to wander in the Sinai Peninsula for 40 years was these people had been so indoctrinated in the darkness that literally they had to die off, and they had to bring forth a new generation of people who actually were open to God's teachings and higher consciousness of love consciousness, and not all the filthy crap that they were taught down in Egypt and that they had become. So, you know, bad influence brings bad karma. And right now, we're trying to clear all our karma so that we can go through the ascension process. And believe it or not, we only have to get 51% on the side of God. So that 1% over 50% in order for the ascended masters to take us the rest of the way. And that to me gives me a lot of hope, you know, because I know I've had a lot of past lives where I've done a lot of awful things. And so I'm very grateful our karma is being cleared by the lords of karma. Yeah. And that Saint Germain has the violet flame clearing our auric fields of all the clutter, the chaos, the bad thoughts, all of the things that, you know, we as humans have. And a lot of people just say, oh, well, all humans do it and all humans have it. Well, you're right. But it's time to clear that stuff out.
It seems, though, that history is repeating itself, though, isn't it, now, after the story you just told? Seems like we're right back in the same, you know, we've been enslaved, and we've been, you know, the greatest slaves are the ones who don't know that they're slaves, who think they're free when they're actually not. I'll tell you, walk into a courtroom, folks, and you tell me how free you are.
Oh, yeah. Our court system was made diabolical through the last 4 presidents. You know, it started with G.H. Bush. And then it moved on to Clinton. And Clinton, let me tell you, they had an agenda. And then George Jr. W. He continued it, and Obama literally put us into slavery. Believe it or not, our economy went down. All of these 8 things I talked about earlier were accomplished to quite a high degree.
Isn't it amazing? I mean, we had a surplus when Bill Clinton was president, and somehow now we had, you know, because of the wars, we went into all this, you know, with Bush Jr., we had all this debt, and then of course, you know, Obama came in and just, you know, it was kind of the it just really kind of brought us underwater. And of course,
he more than doubled the debt and brought more socialism and created the environment of, you know, more and more suppression of our ideas as free people. And so it's important that we influence others, and we're accountable for our influence. Accountability with love consciousness, with focus and activation and participation, will change and will actually dispel all of the energy that Soros psionic people are creating right now. Because they're literally trying to create chaos in our minds. They're trying to make us believe this socialism is going to be the answer.
Yeah, and they're trying to confuse us. They're trying to confuse us, and they're trying, you know, this is the name of my report from Monday, was think right and wrong, not right and left. Okay?
Exactly. Yeah, it's right and wrong. And so the moment you begin the love consciousness with accountability, we step into a higher consciousness with emotions of love, joy, bliss, gratitude. Gratitude, believe it or not, it vibrates in love consciousness. And then we start to heal ourselves of our emotional stuff and others. We make contact with the heavens and we move ourselves and others into the love consciousness or the fifth dimension. So this is very important information. And the moment we telepathically communicate an energy of love, we enter into the love consciousness, the fifth dimensional flow of love, putting that same energy into those who we are around and communicate to you. And when there's two or more of you, as Jesus taught, doing the same thing, it augments it by millions of tons of energy. You know, we get our minds and our hearts love in congruence or in the same vibratory strength, they connect. And we put that out there through our telekinesis and through our heart's love and congruence with our mind and our heart. And that communication goes out and it will dispel. You know, the word spell is from an old ancient language of control. And so spells are meant to control others, you know, like a love spell controls them, makes them think they're in love with you, you know, different spells. And I learned a long time ago that we have to dispel or get rid of the spells that are being cast upon us and bring in the love consciousness. And when you get rid of the spells, you free their soul. And the love consciousness wakes them up, waking up their soul. So the accountability creates an energy of I can accomplish this. And so it's very important to remember. You look like you got something to say again.
That's because you're telepathic. You're that's because you're using your clairaudience. You probably heard, or your
well, I actually was blessed about 17 years ago that out of my voice will come the words of God for the healing of the people. Now, when we get healed, we actually start healing our minds, our emotions, our souls. And so I've been blessed with the ability to speak the truth and the love consciousness of healing. And so it helps dispel that negative influence and enslavement, which is way cool.
Which is what makes you such a great doctor. So you're absolutely right. And what I was saying was, or what I was thinking, and you picked up on, Scott, it was the fact that you're saying that they actually they really can mess with you in big ways. And putting a spell on somebody, like a love spell, is a very common thing that they do. And you really think you are in love with somebody, and it's crazy. And of course other spells as well. I mean, they could do anything really, I'm sure. So I mean, I've had to deal with this myself in terms of the magic. It's you have to protect yourself. That's the thing you have to do, is just protect yourself and know what you're you study it as Scott did, so that he knew how to help people who are who are suffering from it. Scott, you said that you studied black magic because you had to learn what you were dealing with, so you knew how to help people, right?
Yes. Yeah, the fairies actually told me to buy these books about witchcraft, and I had to read them to learn how to undo or dispel the spells that were on people. And the cabal uses black magic. They use darkness. They use fear to control us. And creating love is the ultimate form of creation. Because the creator who created this entire universe for us did it through unconditional love. And that's where we're truly supposed to be heading, is into unconditional love. Because that's where all the answers are. Because when we get ourselves in that new quantum reality of faith, sending out loving thoughts, effect of awakening the souls, creating love is the ultimate form of creation. And creating love changes our minds and the minds of others, helping all of our realities change for the better. So if you want better things to happen, socialism is not the answer.
No
The
way.
answer is freeing our souls from all of the negativity, all of the negative thought forms, all of the fear, all of the chaos, and bringing ourselves back into the order of God, which is the love consciousness.
Yeah, and honestly, folks, this is what this is about right now. We do this together, or we have to suffer greater, um, uh, you know, ill effects and greater sufferings until we get it. That's the role the dark has here. It's to force us to come together. So how much more suffering are we going to take before we get that? And we can get it now, or we can take more suffering until we get it. That we have to, that's their role. Their role here is to create challenges in our life so our souls can grow. But it went too far. I agree. It went way too far. But the issue is that it's still, because there's the yin yang, right? Like we have in the GoldFish Report logo. That's what it's about. It's about, there's always going to be some kind of duality up, and even into the fifth dimension, I believe. There's going to be, a counterbalance, a reaction. There's always going to be this duality, and so it's here to teach us if we are willing to learn from it. We have to see through the illusion, though, and so that's what I wanted to say. I wanted to make that point, Scott.
Oh, that's a perfect point, because my next point was the old reality is suffering. Suffering leads us into slavery and no change on our planet. In other words, the whole Green Deal is about control and new taxation, believe it or not, because they're going to tax you for breathing out CO2, which is, something us humans and all the animals do. And the new love quantum reality is not about suffering, but about love and loving thoughts sent out purposely, assistance to change others' thoughts and souls. The new reality is going to instantaneously change all of us into a love consciousness. And believe it or not, through that love consciousness, we're not going to need a healthcare system, because it's going to heal all of us. We're not going to have illness. We're not going to have suffering. We're not going to have this crap that they're trying to impose on us.
Right. It's like, how much more suffering will it take for you to wake up and for you to, honest to God, that's what it comes down to. It's like,
Yes.
they're going to keep inflicting this insanity on us until we all come together and we realize that. So, but how about we look, there's people who think let's talk about unconditional love because let me tell you, it's kind of, if you're a parent, then you know what I mean. What it's hard for people to really understand unconditional love or to feel it, because they're stuck in their ego, they're stuck in pride, they're stuck in the programming of expecting that you're doing, that there's always a quid pro quo going on with the relationship. I do this for you and you do this for me. It's the opposite of that. It's doing something for someone without expecting anything in return. But I want you, because it's the most amazing thing. If you can experience unconditional love for someone who has done really bad things, it's amazing. You can surprise yourself how freeing that is. It's like, look, you can't change the past. If somebody wants to make an earnest effort to change their life, then give them the chance to do that. That's what we're doing here. And you love somebody, you can't hold that past against them. So you really, if you, and this is a choice. Unconditional love, might not be able to give it to everybody, but, when you do give it to somebody, the problem is when they're not ready and they don't, and they mistreat that, that's a very difficult, that's a very painful situation. But again, it has to do with expectations too. Maybe you can explain that and help understand that, Scott, because there's a risk in giving unconditional love to people, and that is obviously getting hurt in return. And I think that's why a lot of people may not do it. So what do you think?
The only risk is we won't evolve. That's the biggest risk. And if we don't evolve, we'll continue the suffering and we'll continue the enslavement. And that's what the dark cabal wants. That's what the Arconians wants. That's what the draconian, the evil in the third dimension wants us not to evolve out of this dimension, because they'll lose control of energy and they won't have what they desire, which is control over us. Now, the love consciousness with clear intention to wake up others with elevated joy, love, and compassion and gratitude manifests the love consciousness. And that love consciousness causes miracles to happen. We actually become, in Joe Dispenza's new book, called The Supernatural Humans, amazing things start to happen. I mean, miraculous healings, miraculous manifestations of abundance and prosperity, and all of the joyous things start happening. And it's going to shift the world. And that's what is supposed to happen. We were supposed to happen in 2012, but believe it or not enough humans were ready, because we were all still in this spelled, crazed chaos, you name it, and enslavement. And we've been given more time to get us ready, because God loves us through that love consciousness. He's not going to take and cause the earth to all of a sudden just become, fifth dimension if the humans living here aren't ready, because we aren't ready to move into that dimension. So we move into the love consciousness. And we're not alone, because we have the assistance of all the ascended masters, the angels, the archangels, the elementals here on the planet are all ready to go into the fifth dimension with us. And so we've got all these cosmic beings of divine light love rooting for us, trying to assist us. And what we need to do is communicate with them through our telekinesis and communicate that love consciousness to all of the humans on the planet. And, I tell this story often because it proves that this works. Maharishi sent 2,000 TMers to Washington, D.C., which was the murder capital of the world when he sent them, to meditate love consciousness around the city. And these 2,000 meditators, they'd meditate each day, and the murder rate fell to zero. The aggravated assaults went way down. The robberies went way down. Everybody became more loving, more peaceful. And I think it scared the hell out of the cabal, because they knew they were losing control. Mm-hmm. And so eventually they stopped doing it. And slowly the crime rate started rising up again. Now, if you can imagine 2,000 meditators being able to lower that frequency of, assaults, murders, everything else, think about what 100,000 of us can do, who are sending the telepathic message of love, forgiveness, higher consciousness, happiness, health, joy, peace. It's going to change the world. And that's what Saint Germain's message is. We need to dispel the spell that's been put over us, the falsehoods, the false teachings that are being put into our minds by the cabal, take control of our minds and thoughts, put ourselves back into the love consciousness, the joy, the peace, sending healing to others and gratitude to others. that is going to change the world and make us into a stronger, more beautiful, or happy people. And so just know it's a choice. And I know a lot of people are out there thinking, oh, we can't change everybody, but you can. And I've seen it and I've done it.
Yeah.
You know? And so it is possible for every one of us to shift our consciousness.
Scott, you're such an inspirational speaker. I'll tell you. I mean, for those who haven't, for those who don't know Scott's story, it's a story you should all listen to. It's, I don't know which GoldFish Report it is where you first told your story, but I'll tell you.
Probably the first one.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's gone back a ways, hasn't it, Scott? And
Yes.
and it's a really inspirational story. And this man has walked the walk, folks. Let me tell you, I can assure you, he certainly has. And what's amazing is after these incredible challenges and almost, these kinds of things challenge people at their core so deeply that many can't recover. And Scott's incredible strength and his charisma and his personality, just who he is, really is it's amazing the comeback you've made, and you're the comeback kid.
I wouldn't have been able to come back except for the inspiration and the attendance
Yeah.
of angels and the ascended masters. Because, the Cabals tried to kill me several times because they knew they could see my future, and they didn't want me around because they knew I'd be talking to you today and talking about this love consciousness and about how we can dispel it and shift the consciousness of the universe. And so literally they've even tried to go into my past because they have the ability to time travel. And I've had to do decrees, and I have these available for you, that you can actually protect even your past lives from the Cabals' influence. And they're called the decrees for putting my world in divine order. And I do these every day because I want protection, not only in this life, but in past, because our future can be, the timelines can be changed and shifted. And I've had to learn this stuff. And I can tell you, it's all very real. We as humans have the abilities to time travel. We have the ability to shift our timelines. And it's important that we shift them into positive, good timelines. Like if you killed somebody in a past life and you know it, go back to that past life and do it. Undo what you did and create a new timeline. And it will literally heal you because we carry this stuff karmically. And right now we're trying to get rid of all our karma so we can move into a new reality of a higher love consciousness in the 5D. So, and just know you're not alone. You have the assistance of like-minded beings, and we are here to help each other. I tell you, I get calls every day from people. My daughter's really acting crazy. Will you do a clearing on her? And I'll ask the ascended masters to assist me in clearing what's going on. And they call me up within minutes and they say, I don't know what you did, but she's being nice now. She's herself. She's not acting so possessed. And that's what happens to us. We get possessed with negative entities, negative spirits, negative thoughts. We have to take and create good thoughts, loving thoughts, happy thoughts, joyous thoughts. And it creates that reality back around us.
Yeah, there's negative attachments and all kinds of things. So definitely, we have no idea, unless you've done some past life regression work. And I think your wife, Vicki, does that. We've had her on the GoldFish Report. If you don't really know what you've done in your past life, folks, it's probably not so great. So it all depends, what you're living now is, sometimes the manifestation of that. And we are in Mercury retrograde, folks. So this is, and of course we have so many planetary alignments that are so powerful right now. And of course, it's a very big karmic time. So it's time to revisit things that you left hanging unresolved and all kinds of things. And this is great. This is just a great message, Scott, because, I'm sitting here trying to think of, every time you say something new, I'm like, oh, that's what I'm going to title this. And then you say something else, I'm like, no, I'm going to use that to title this. And it's like, I don't even know what I'm going to title this report today, because, I
moving into the love consciousness.
Yeah, I mean, it is what we're talking about, but I wanted to somehow make sure that we stressed that we are, having this concerted effort to undermine that, and we have to be aware of it so that we make more of a conscious effort to overcome it, and so we have to be even more conscious. We have to be warriors, folks. We all have to be warriors. We have to realize we're at war, and you need to get a strategy. And your strategy is realizing that they are doing these things, in the esoteric, in the ether, against us. And if you're aware of it, that's half the battle. And the other half is that you need to pull yourself up from your bootstraps and get a strategy and make a little altar in your house. I don't mean altars like sacrificing. I mean like a little place where you can go and just connect with your soul monad. You can connect with God or whoever, your ancestors on the other side, however you want, whatever higher being is in your life, and put some candles, or put some, people do all kinds of things. They put essential oils, they put photos, they put of whatever their deity or maybe ancestor is, or ascended master, like Scott's saying, and just go there and connect and tune everything else out. I'm going to do this too. I don't have one. I used to have a place, and then I had to move my office into it, so I don't have it anymore. But I will make more of a concerted effort for that myself. And you guys can do it along with me. Leave comments in the comment section and let me know what you do in order to reconnect and check into your higher guidance. So that, if there is a special message they have for you, you'll be there and able and willing to receive it. It's about disciplining ourselves, but we have to realize that we're warriors right now, and we're warriors, and that requires us to get a strategy, because
Yes.
we're at war. It's a spiritual war, folks. It's talked about in the Bible and everything else.
Yes, and that strategy is, I practice loving telepathic communication daily, focusing my mind on positive thoughts, forgiving thoughts, loving thoughts, and emotion. And if I can't get there, I do Ho'oponopono. I can't go through a GoldFish report without saying Ho'oponopono is very powerful. Yeah. And we focus our mind on these positive, loving thoughts and emotions, and we send them out into the entire world, putting positive and loving thoughts into the minds of everybody. Now, let me tell you, you're not going to create any karma doing that, because that's the love consciousness. And so that's the assignment for each of you, is create that sacred space and start doing this.
Excellent, Scott. No, it's so wonderful. We have such great energy. When Scott comes on GoldFish Report, this is like the highest vibration we get to. It's really high vibrational stuff. Even that interview with Alex Collier the other day was super high vibration. And what happens is there has to be this harmonic resonance between us. And that's why the message, it's important that the message goes out with a harmonic resonance, because then I think people will, be able to perceive, they'll be able to benefit from that vibration that's coming through the message. Do you know what I mean, Scott?
Yes, absolutely. And I want to thank all of you for listening to us today. And I'm supposed to give you a blessing, if that's okay.
That's fine.
Okay.
Please do. Thank you.
We'll go ahead and give everybody a blessing. Everybody who is listening to this GoldFish Report, and even those who are not, we telepathically communicate to you. and bless you with the love consciousness that you will all be able to focus your minds and thoughts on loving, kind, joyous, happy thoughts. And know that the Ascended Masters are assisting you with these thoughts. They are with us. All of the cosmic beings of divine love and light are here assisting us in this joyous effort to convert and change our planet back into a loving, higher vibrating consciousness of love and compassion. We honor you as the Ascended Masters, and this is your purpose currently on the planet, is to shift consciousness into the love consciousness of the divine. And you will no longer have any karma to repay. The lords of karma are here mitigating all consciousness, all karma, and you are all worthy to become higher beings of light and love. We bless you with health, with strength, with emotional power to move into the love of consciousness, and that you will do this love consciousness daily and send it out telepathically to all the humans around you and on planet Earth and off planet Earth, because there are many humans who are out in the universe enslaved by others. And we push this love consciousness out throughout the universe, wherever humanity is. And we thank you for doing this in the name of the Almighty, I am that I am, and in the name of Jesus Christ and all the Ascended Masters. And whoever's your masters, we bless them and honor them through this blessing. So be it. So it is.
So it is. Thank you so much, Scott. That was really beautiful. Thank you very much. I had so many different thoughts of people who I was trying to include in that as you were saying it. And, you know, we hope everybody, like you said, once it's out in the collective, once it's out in the ether, you know, it's there for everybody to access in the collective conscious. So it's good. It's good. So thank you so much. Thank you for this great
You're welcome. And we want it to be a continuous vibration of love consciousness. So we need to do this every day, just for a few minutes.
Yeah.
It doesn't take long.
All right, Scott,
if you need help, you know, go to YouTube and find this latest thing on telepathy, my latest lesson.
Okay.
It's from November 5th, 2019 on YouTube. And if, you know, just know that this consciousness is what's going to shift the planet. It's not becoming socialist slaves.
Right.
It's becoming loving divine beings of love consciousness.
You said that so well. It's not through socialism, folks. We're not going to get there through socialism. Absolutely right, Scott. That was really great to put that contrast in there. If you have the link, I'll include it in the description section of the video. So if you can give me that link, I'll just put it in the video. Okay. So
yeah, there's 3 videos.
Okay.
They're only 20 minutes each, so that, you know, I was told by Saint Germain, because believe it or not, our attention span's only about 7 minutes. So making it through a 20-minute video is even hard for a while.
It's a little bit longer than a goldfish. Okay, so anyway, so yeah, GoldFish Report. Funny, you know, that's the name of this report, and goldfish have such a short attention span, but our reports are actually quite lengthy. But it really isn't referring to the attention span of goldfish or people. It's referring to the luck that goldfish represent in the Chinese culture, and so that's really what it represents for the most part.
Yes, this will not only bring you luck but happiness. So this
Absolutely.
will be good.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you to all of our viewers. Please subscribe and hit that like channel, folks. And by the way, I have a little announcement. We are going to be monetizing the channel because we're going to be doing something new. We're going to be doing super chat, live super chats, where people can ask questions directly to our guests and for a super chat donation. So we're going to be doing that on YouTube because after 400 reports, it's time that we start to monetize. There's so much time involved in this, and it's mostly for the expense of keeping it up. So we're going to do that, and it's time. I think after 400 reports, we deserve it. So, and maybe Scott will have some opportunity to come and join us on Super Chats as well, and that will help everybody who is out here giving out free messages for a very long time. And it's time to kind of get some of those expenses is one way to get some expenses recouped if we can get these social media platforms to cooperate with us, and that remains to be seen. We'll see, but we'll keep everyone posted. So thank you so much. Those will be separate from regular GoldFish reports, by the way. So there'll be special super chats where you can ask questions for a super chat donation. So and that's that. So have a great weekend, folks. Rest of your week. Oh, we have another interesting interview coming up this week. There will be a dragon interview update, so keep your eyes out for that. Probably be towards the end of the week. So have a great day. Thank you again, Scott. It was a pleasure.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And this concludes this edition of the GoldFish Report.